Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here. My guest today comes from Iceland. Sigrún, welcome to Fiberchats.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to tell us your last name and the name of your company because my Icelandic is not that great and it's complicated to say it. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Sigrún Arna Aradóttir, and I'm daughter of my father. If someone is wondering why it is a daughter, but that is how it is in Iceland. And then you can see what kind of gender the person is.
And the name of the company is?
And the name of the company is Náttúruprjón, which is knit in nature in English.
Right. And just so you're not afraid, I'm going to put all of this in the description of this video so you guys will know how to find Sigrún. But tell me first how you started with knitting. You have it taught in school, right?
Yeah, in Iceland we learn all kinds of handcraft from like 6 or 7 years, like painting and cooking and knitting and crochet. So there was where I started.
Did you like it back then?
No, I was rather an impatient person, so no, I can't say that.
Well, do you
No,
remember like first time when you decided to like do something for yourself, not because you had to do a project for school, but just because you wanted to knit something or crochet something?
yeah, it's like, yeah, you had to do it in school. You had to do some sewing or broadering and things like that. So I I think when I was like teenager, 14, I wanted to knit a Lopapeysa. And then it was like I did it and I had it a little bit longer. They are quite short usually, but I had it down low. So there I started and I liked it. And then I have gone between crochet, quilting, and tried a lot of things. So, but knitting is more or less my thing. And
Were your parents knitters? Like, did your grandmothers or mother knit?
yes, they did. And yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I think it's very rich in Iceland that a lot of people, and not as many today, but it was like everybody did something. Everybody could do something. My mom sewed the clothes on me and she knitted and crochet and everything. So, and my father did carve out for wood, like you can see here above me. That is from my father. So I think we have done a lot of it in my family.
And
And
you told me that your grandmother was quite an artist also, right?
the grandma of my oldest daughter, yeah, on the father's side, yeah, it was when I gave her birth, I got this precious things clothes from her, which was like art form, no pattern, nothing. She just sat down and knitted something wonderful, and I envied her. I was like, oh, I wish I could do this. Just sit down and create something. And I tried, and it didn't go very well in the beginning. So I have been doing a lot of frogging, maybe more frogging than knitting.
When you did that first Lopapeysa, how was that experience? Like, did you follow a pattern? How did you do it?
Yes, I did follow a pattern. I saw a pattern I wanted, and it was white and pink and dark pink or burgundy. And yes, I did follow the pattern. And this was like the first item I knitted, so it was very difficult to follow the pattern. And it was like just knit this amount of stitches for cup and or for rib. And you had to read between the lines, and then you got this chart. But of course, my mom was with my side, so she could help me. But
Right.
yeah, that is how the Icelandic sweater pattern were. But I think they have changed a little bit in the time. So
So for people who don't know much about Icelandic knitting, tell us about Lopapeysa because this is like the traditional Icelandic sweaters, right?
yeah, it is. It was started around 1900. I think it was around that the first Lopapeysa was knitted. And it is made out of the Icelandic wool, which is kind of scratchy and very isolated. And even if it gets very wet, it is still very isolating and very warm. And the Lopapeysa is knitted from the down low and up. And then it is patterned maybe down here on the sleeves, and then on the shoulder, on the yoke is a lot of pattern, which goes in around. So this is, I think this is a very neat thing to learn to knit, because the Lopi I used was like plötulopi, which is very thin, and you use 3 strands in one sweater. So, and it's very delicate, and you just had to take it a little harsh, and it went center. So you really have to be very careful when you knit it. So you cannot, you have to be careful, and then you learn a lot by being careful. I have one here which I'm making, and this is like
beautiful,
typical Lopapeysa. Then you can see the pattern on the shoulders, and there's not like, you cannot see where it is increased or decreased. So
no, that's beautiful. I love that.
thank you. I'm doing this for Gimli. There's this summer 150 years old anniversary of the settlement of Icelanders. There were a lot of Icelanders that moved to Canada, and now it is like 150 years old.
Right. Wow. Well, when people talk about knitting, they often say, oh, I just wish I had patience for that. And you mentioned that when you were younger and you were like studying it in school, you were very impatient, and that's why you didn't enjoy knitting. Do you think now, like from the adult perspective, do you think that knitting gives us patience?
Yes, it gives you at least some calmness in your mind. And I think it's very important that when you start knitting, you start with something you really, really like to do. Like my daughter started to crochet in December because she had this certain urge for the cat would have a sun hat. Mm-hmm. So she lied on the internet, on YouTube, and learned to crochet. And that was like, then she started, and she is keeping on the crochet. So I think more or less it is the question about to find something you really want to do. So
tell me a little bit about your design journey, because you're not just a knitter, you decided to start designing and publishing your patterns. Tell me a little bit about like how it started.
This is kind of funny because I saw this ad in May that they were asking for a hat for competition, and the last day was 15th of July. And I saw this ad and it was like, who wants to create a pattern for competition? And then 10th of July, I saw the ad again, and I was like, oh, what a nice idea. I want to create a pattern. And then I just had like 5 days, and I had never done pattern before. So I went into my candy bar, which is the yarn bar I have. I have very much yarn. So I picked out some yarn and looked at it and made a pattern. And the 15th, I gave in the pattern and the knitted item. Wow. So, and it was like, it was 6 colors in it. So it was like hopeless to let it win because people needed to have an amount of yarn to be able to knit it. So I didn't win, which was very good because the lady, I had to give the pattern in a shop. And the lady in the shop, she asked me if I would make some more pattern. She would want to sell them because she said, you use color in a very good, nice way, and you use colors. And then everything was like, what is it called when it is like very, like pastel colors.
Right.
So, and I don't use pastel colors. I use colors. So, and that is how it started. And she started to sell my pattern, and I started to create more, and it was just like a waterfall in Iceland. It was just like it opened up, and I haven't stopped. And this was 2019, so
Right.
it's not so long time ago. But also, I never thought I was talented enough to try to do this, because I always thought something was missing. I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know well enough, and things like that. So it was, yeah, it took me by surprise.
I
This
think it's
battle.
very empowering for people who listen to this interview to hear that from you, because we always think that like designers who publish, they got it all nailed. They understand everything. They're the experts. And the reality of it that a lot of people just trying to learn the process and like see what's going to happen, and they not so self-assured as designers when they start.
Yeah.
And also like you and I, we've met at Swiss Yarn Festival. And I remember just walking by, and it's like the combination of colors and the designs and like it was so saturated that I was like stopped in my tracks, with you. So you do have a talent, like even if you're not so self-assured, you like definitely very talented designer.
Thank you. Well, it's growing that I'm on the right track, actually, because the first year I was like very shy and didn't believe in myself, and things like that. But today I make pattern. I had put up 2 web shops for my shop, and I do almost everything, you know.
Let's talk about your color choices, because you mentioned that the first hat had 6 colors and it's impossible to sell a pattern with 6 colors. Do you feel like when you design, is it artistic first, or is it the businesswoman first that comes up with the idea? Like, do you think pragmatically about like how many colors people need to have in their stash to knit your design, or do you think like I love the way it looks and they'll find something in their leftover stash or what have you?
Well, it's not the businesswoman, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult because I I see something and I create by it, but I also want it to be not like just buying 100 grams of lot of colors to use for one hat. It is not very wise. So, and it's also, because we have to be careful about everything we use today, and not buy too much. So that is why I got the idea of the kit, so people can just get what they're going to use and maybe a little bit more so they can fix if something is broken. But I think it's very important that we will be very careful about what we buy and what we do.
I mean, I
And
also think like once like if you are experienced knitter, at some point you accumulate enough leftover yarn that you don't even need to buy yarn anymore for like hats or gloves or like small items like that. Like I have a whole bag of leftover yarn from different projects, and every time I make like mittens or hat, I just go there. Like I don't even look at my stash, right? Like I go straight to that bag and I find the colors that I blend. Do you feel like you have to teach people about how to choose colors? Because it's not that easy to pick the colors that's going to go together. Like, how do you teach somebody what colors to choose?
I think the rule number 1, if you think it's beautiful, it's good to go.
I love that.
Because it's just your taste. Because like I say, I'm very colorful and I like colors, and a lot of people don't like my choice of colors at all. So I am on the other side. So I think if you see something that you like, you should go for it. And when I started to do the patterns, I was thinking about my leftover yarns I had, and that I wanted to give the people possibility to use the yarn they have already back home, and was very like telling how much yarn you had to use for this mittens or for this hat or something. But then they started to ask me about the colors I used. So it was like, well, it didn't go like I was hoping it would be going, but although it was like I started to dye yarn to put in kits.
Right.
And then I'm a little bit on that spot that you're just getting what you're going to use.
Well, you started writing patterns in Icelandic, right? And now most of your patterns available both in Icelandic and English.
Yeah.
How was that process? Like, why did you decide to start translating your patterns in English? And was it difficult to do that?
Yes, it was very difficult because the first time I knitted after English pattern, which I bought to 2017, I think, I just didn't understand a letter. I was totally lost. You know, it was so much of shortening, like knit one, purl one, you know, I didn't know about it. And I really was like a beginner. And it was very difficult in the beginning, but then I started to get hold on it and got a lot of good help by our experienced knitters. So it was easy, and now it is even more easier. So, well, life is a learning.
Right.
You always have to learn and adapt and try new things, and it will just grow you if you're willing to learn new things.
Well, you have three children.
Yeah.
What was their reaction to your journey when like you were a mom and then you became knitwear designer?
I think I know they are very happy because, like they say, now it's our turn to help you because you have been taking care of us all the time, and now it is yours, and we are here to help you. Like my son was with me with the Swiss Yarn Festival,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, great, I will go with you, no problem at all. So, yeah, I have full support from my kids, and I'm very grateful for it.
I think it's also like very inspirational for the kids to see their moms, you know, take the full advantage of their newfound passion and career, you know.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Oh, I have cats.
Me too. Cats and knitters go well together, and they usually frequent visitors of my channel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm very lucky with my kids because they are not like, even if I take a different direction, and I'm very, very occupied then of this knitting things and have been now for a couple of years or so. And they have never been like, oh, you never have times for us or anything. We just try to work it together and enjoy what we have together. So
Well,
it's,
tell me, like,
yeah.
how do you get those ideas? How do ideas of design come to you?
Some of the time it's like I go a bit out hiking here in Iceland in the nature, and it's most of the time it's a very short distance to the nature. So I see a rock, I see a flower, I see northern lights or volcano, you know. And then I go home and go and put it down on a paper and knit it and think about it and frog a little bit. And yeah, I think it's most of the time it's somewhere where I sit outside walking, enjoying something like that. I see something, I take photo of it, I go home and make a pattern of it. Like one of my most popular mittens kit is called Bergmál, which is echo. And we have Ásbyrgi in northern Iceland, where this is a big wall of rocks. And I was sitting outside there and thinking about when I was a kid. And you could go in there and say ho, and it was like echo in the rocks, which is not allowed to do anymore because there are too many people in there. And then I was sitting outside there and I thought about the echo, and the pattern is like echo. It's throwing out. So yeah, sometimes I can do what I see, and sometimes I have to adjust it a little bit.
Well, talking about photography, you're actually a brilliant photographer and you take most of your pictures in nature yourself, right?
Yeah, I do. And I'm so happy, and I think I'm very lucky to be able to combine my two main hobbies, knitting and taking photos. So
well, look, give me some, because like I feel like us as knitters who try to share our projects, we always struggle with the colors being true, the knitted item to be shown to the best angle. Give me some tips. Like, what would be your advice for people who they just have their phone and they have their knitted item? Like, what's your advice? What should we pay attention to?
In taking photos? Well, it's, most of the time we are not having very good weather in Iceland. So when we have a good weather and the special light in the sun and the clouds and everything, it has to be a special light till I want to go outside and take photos. I'm not able to take photo whenever, so I take a lot of photos if I go out to take photos, if the weather is right.
So it's better to take pictures in natural light than try to do it at home?
I think you get better photos if you have like a white background and things like that. You will get clear photos and you will get the right color maybe, or closer to what it is than out in the nature. But I think like my items are more or less always connected to the nature. So I think that is part of it, to have it in the nature. And in the beginning, all my photos were taken in the nature. But then someone said like, well, I think you have to show people on white how this look really. So that is why I started to put like one or two photos of the items with the white background.
Right. Well, but you told me that
I love taking photos outside. I think that I'm running after the mittens because they blow away and things like
that. Not into the waterfall, hopefully, or the volcano.
Well, then I would need to knit a new one.
Well, you told me that the first year you did like a few designs, but then the second year you exploded with the ideas and there was like some unreasonable number of designs. How does it work? Like, do you work on multiple designs at the same time? Are you like a one project kind of girl?
I work on daily basis in Excel. So I always have this sheets in front of me. And that is how it began. I was like maybe working in Excel and then I saw something or wanted to try something out and kept on going until I was happy with it. But also I want to say a lot of my patterns, they are not nice at all, and they will never be published. But then I can work with it and keep on going and trying to find the right path.
Well, how do you decide what's nice enough and what's going to get published?
Well, some of the things are just ugly when I have knitted them, so I don't have to repeat it. So, yeah, and then maybe I have to adjust things, It's not like I don't sit down and make something, I make it, I have to look at it, and then I turn back to it, and then I knit a little bit. And like when I was doing the Northern Lights hat, because I wanted it to run the whole way up without like a seamless.
Right.
And I had like to frog 3 times and change the pattern till I got the right look of it. So
what's your relationship with swatching? Like we have people like Cecilia Campuchiaro who has boxes and boxes of little swatches, and she publishes books based on her swatches. And then we have people like me who try to avoid swatching any way they can. Where are you in that spectrum?
If I'm going to do a sweater, I make a swatch, definitely. But in the mittens, I use most of the time, I use the same yarn. And so it's always the same, but just a different pattern. So it is easier. But no, when I make a sweater, I make a swatch. And then I measure when I have knitted, I measure and to be sure it will be in the right size.
Well, yesterday I saw a picture on Instagram of one of my followers knitting the first shawl that I designed. And every time I see a picture of somebody knitting my design, I'm just in total shock and awe. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't believe like it actually mine, and I can't believe how beautiful their colors, and why didn't I think of those colors? How does it feel when you see your designs in the wild, like when you see other people making your designs and choosing different colors?
I like it. I like it a lot because I like independency of thinking. And also, when I saw someone with my first hat somewhere in Reykjavik, I said, "Can I take a photo of you?" It was very funny, but I really loved it. And then I saw someone on a bus stop with another hat, and I was like, "Oh, two with my hats!" I was very happy with it. But yeah, I like when people want to use different colors, and I love it.
Are you ever surprised, like, oh, I didn't think that that combination would work, but it looks beautiful on you?
Yes, my friend in Canada, she knitted my first item, and she was just taking some scrap yarn and using it, and then she had done something, and we talked about it, and I said, well, no, just take this out and put this instead or something like that, and we were talking about it, and she ended with such a lovely hat. I was like, why didn't I think about it? so it was very nice, and I like when people explore and try something different, because this is not like a sacred how it is done, you know.
Right. Well, when you don't knit, like what else brings you joy in life? What else do you love doing?
Being around my kids and grandkids, and just going out in the nature, hiking, and traveling. I love traveling, but I always have something with me. And today it is not like what clothes are you going to take with you? It is what knitwork or crochet are you going to take? So
Well, when I talk to people from like Iceland or Shetland, you guys are spoiled with your own yarn. Like you have your own breed of sheep there on the island, and like you've been knitting with it a lot, and most of your designs are done with that. When you go to a place like Swiss Yarn Festival and you see like all different kinds of yarn, what do you think? Like, are you tempted to try everything, or do you think Icelandic wool is the best?
it is very difficult to go around a lot of yarn. And, I have a full room of yarn in all kinds of boxes. And so now I have decided that I have to cut down a little bit, because I will not be able to knit from all my stuff until I will get 100. I still will have some yarn. So I have stepped down a little bit, and my limits are I'm allowed when I go to a festival to buy
Two skeins of yarn.
two skeins of yarn.
You're a very strong woman.
Well, it doesn't always happen. and
Right.
what the best part of it was like when I was on Manitoba Fiber Festival last year. I published I published a pattern of Lopapeysa. There's this Iceland, well, there's Canadian farmer with Icelandic sheep in Canada, in Gimli, and I was the 23 at the farm and asked him if I could make a pattern for him, which I did. So we were publishing the pattern in the Manitoba Fiber Festival. And then it was like Icelandic pattern with Icelandic sheep's
Right.
bred in Canada. And then there I went to one shop in Winnipeg, and I bought some yarn there from I think it's called Arcade and Dyers. It is this guy in Canada.
Yeah, Arcane Fiberworks, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw this skein of yarn, and I was like, "Oh, here's one. I'm going to buy this one."
Well,
And then
Tyler is very talented dyer, so I'm actually trying for a few years already to get him on my channel, but he's been very reluctant to do that. So maybe we can convince him.
yeah, and I bought some precious yarn from him. Very very nice guy, and I was so happy to see it in the shop because I had been watching him for a long time.
Right.
And then I bought one skein at the Fiber Festival, and when I came home and I put the skeins together, it was exactly the same color tone of both of the skeins, so I can use them together. So from him, it was a merino, and the other one was a mohair. So it was a different texture and everything, but exactly the same colors. So I was like, maybe I should have tried to get something different, but
Well, do you have a favorite palette for yourself? Do you have colors that you always gravitate towards?
yeah, it's green and pink and burgundy and the lila. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was my main colors.
I saw you had this hat and mittens with it was like moss green with like little flowers, pink flowers on it.
Yeah, it is timian, the spice
Yeah, yeah.
timian or thyme or what it's
Fine.
called.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of it here in Iceland. And you can, if you just go out hiking, and you can feel the smell of it. It's very rich of smell and colors and very beautiful in the harsh Icelandic nature. One of my favorite flowers to take photos of and have been for many years. And I made the pattern. And then I was driving with my son to North Iceland, and I was like knitting the pattern in the car, and then he drove into a pothole, so I purred. And that is how I found out to have this pattern, so the flower would look like the flowers on the
That's
flower.
that's such an awesome story.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's like I saw the magic happen when I purred in the middle of the mitten. So
You're not gonna forget that one, right?
no.
So like when you do designs, do you like to do a set, like a hat and mittens and scarf, like together the same motifs?
Some motifs, like my first is just hat, no mittens. And then I have some mittens and no hats. But most of my patterns have hat and mitten. And most of the time I do it, well, maybe in the same month or not long time between.
Yeah.
And I never know when I start drawing something up, I never know if it is going to be a hat or a mitten, or will I use the Latvian braid or not, or how it will look, and what will be the main color or contrast color. So
Well, in
it's
the
all
time of like our grandparents, right? It was mostly like you see your neighbor doing something and you learn from them. Like the world was very local.
yeah.
And now with YouTube, with all these fiber festivals, you can learn from like people from all over the world. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you are being influenced by like other places in the world, or is Iceland where your heart belongs to and all your designs come exclusively from Iceland?
No, I am an Icelander and I love being here, really do, even if the weather is changed quite often. But I like to pick up and learn from different people or different nations. So I think that is a little bit of mixing of everything, what I do. So I use what I have learned, and then I have to learn it if I don't know it, but I want to go there. So And I love how the world isn't so big anymore. You know, it's very easy to get information. You go to YouTube or something. And so it is like the world is getting smaller and we are mixing everything up, and I like it.
I was in Iceland for just 4 hours. I was going from Milan through Iceland and then back to Boston. And it's my dream to come one day and explore it and see the nature for myself. Like I saw a gazillion of videos and I know it's a beautiful place. Um, Tell me a little bit about the local food, because the only thing I saw in the airport, it was all like fish jerky. What's your favorite kind of food?
In Iceland, well, the lamb meat is very good, and the salmon, and especially if you get a wild one, it is very good. And then I like the vegetables from Iceland because they are grown here, so they are a little bit different from, maybe they are just newer when we get them than when we import vegetables, because then they have been like in container and things like that. And
Right.
yeah, well, no, nothing special. So yeah, just a well-cooked dinner or meal is the best thing. Of course, you have like smoked lamb, which is very good.
That does
We have
sound
this.
good.
Yeah, so when you come here, I will give you something special Icelandic.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. Well,
Yeah.
what's your plans for your company? Like, what's your vision for your company? You started just trying, like you entered this competition on a whim, and then you
Yeah.
just like let yourself explode. Do you have a vision for your company, or is it just gonna be like whatever idea comes to you, that's what you're gonna be working on?
22, my brother asked me, where are you going with this? And I said, well, I don't know. I just want to knit. You know? And then he took the line and yeah, draw the line where I'm going to. And I'm going to keep on doing patterns and selling patterns, and I want to grow. But I don't want it to explode. I just want it to go slowly upward, which so I can control it.
So besides that sweater that you showed us a peek preview, is there anything else new on your needles that people can expect to see soon?
Do you see this here?
Yeah, that's this. The
Yeah,
jacket.
this is a male cardigan I'm making right now. So it will be published in July, I think, July, August.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Thank you.
If somebody were to come to Iceland, what's the best time to visit and what would you tell them to do, to try?
It depends a little bit on what do you want to see. If you want to see the northern light, you would need to be in the autumn, winter, or a little bit in the spring. If you want to see light nights like now, it's the same daylight, night and day. You will be in the middle of the summer. If you just want to be in the darkness and be depressed, you will show up in December, where everything is very dark. And I like the autumn because there are a lot of colors when the colors are changing. And the summer, of course, is very nice, but you will never get a very good weather here. You will get like, you can be very, very lucky, but most of the time we have like 12, 15 in the summertime.
Right.
So I hope the landscape will put up the expectation a little bit, because the weather is nothing not to be happy about. But yeah, it's like the picturesque when you're traveling in Iceland, it changed like every 5 kilometers. You will see something new. And yeah, your vision will change. And you will always see something new. And you can drive on the east side to the east, and then you go the other way back home, and then you will see a totally different things. And I have done a lot of traveling with my kids when they were growing up, and we had this goal to visit all the swimming pools. We have like 120, 30 swimming pools in Iceland.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And we had this goal to visit all of them. And I think we have done like 80, 90.
Wow.
And and I have traveled a lot in Iceland, and still I'm seeing things I have never noticed before. So it's always something to look at.
I feel like when I saw your patterns, I'm sort of traveling through Iceland through your patterns because they're so different and there's like so many elements to them. So it's always lovely to see like Iceland through the eyes of your patterns, basically.
Yes, it is a little bit like you have, we have had this volcano things here for some years. And the pattern I made for the volcano mittens was I hiked up to the mountain, took a photo and put it in pattern. So that was like a photo I took and changed it to a pattern. And where I'm situated in a suburban of Reykjavik, I could see the volcano, the last few volcanoes. Mm-hmm. I could see them out of my living room. So we are very close to the forces here.
Tell me a little bit about the sweater you're wearing.
This one. This is one of my newest patterns, and it has the name of a type of rock we have a lot of in Iceland. And it is it is with wool. This is with wool and silk, and this is mohair and silk. So it's very like glimmering and very posh, I think.
It looks beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm so happy that you had the chance to share your story with my viewers. It was so lovely to meet you in Switzerland and to get to know you a little bit better today over this interview. Thank you so very much for being a guest of my channel.
Thank you very much.
And nice I'm going to put all the information about how people can find you and your Ravelry and your website in the description of this video, so you guys can give Sigrún a follow and check out her designs. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.